Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 38 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. I'm hanging out with my frame quarry today. Definitely want to continue where I left off last episode, figuring out exactly how I want this thing to work. I have a couple ideas actually. I might want to actually change up the way a few things operate. Let's see, I want to move this thing over in this direction a few, I think. Because I'm thinking I might want my frame quarry to be connected directly in front of this rather than off at this angle thing that's a little weird. So I'm going to be messing with that a little bit. Looks like it's starting to rain and get dark. An awesome combination of things that are not good. So I will start messing around with this a little bit once I've slept through the night. But for now I'm just going to clean this up a bit and consider how I want to proceed in this episode to make this thing better and then more better. Alright, I'll be back. There we go, that looks a little better I think. Let's see if I keep moving this guy over some. Yeah, see that looks nice, doesn't it? Totally. So I should be able to move this guy left and right now, same deal as before, but I'm debating exactly how I want that to work. Do I want another deployer and block breaker combo like I have over here? I think that's probably a good idea. So give me a minute to make sure I'm thinking through this whole thing the way I want it to be, and then I'll be right back. Alright, number one, I want to change the way this left and right motor works. I'm just going to reverse the directions here so that they're kind of facing each other. So I don't know if you can see this with the frames in the way, but the way I have it set up now is that the one on the left moves it to the right, and the one on the right moves it to the left. There's a good reason for this, and let me show you exactly what that is. Basically, what should happen now, it should be, oops, didn't want to drop that, next to impossible to move this thing in such a way that it, can't be moved any further. So if I move this guy all the way to the left as far as it can go, it's not going to be able to move any further to the left, but it won't be off the track anymore. I can keep moving it to the right now, and now it's impossible also to move it off the track on the right side. So by having these frame motors face each other, that's pretty good. Cool. Alright, so I'm entering into a little bit of unfamiliar territory with this. I haven't tested this part of my build yet in my test world, so hopefully I don't mess it up completely. But I've got a deployer here, and what I'm thinking is I might want to have, like, I don't know, something like a block breaker here. There we go. And then let's get some pneumatic tubes. I don't need redstone ones, I just need standards. Let's do it like this. Probably going to need it to be up because I want to make sure it's not touching the frames in any way. So what I need to do is make sure I'm wired up the same way here, but what this guy should move it to the right, and then a block breaker. So let's do something like this. Just going to need another lever or two for temporary testing, and I can place in here just a few frames. That should be good. So just imagine that these two things were connected. So then we move it right, and then we block break, and then we move it right. That's not going to work, right? No, probably not. So I will need to probably move these guys closer together. Like I said, unfamiliar territory. I wasn't sure if I wanted them separate or not, but I guess not. Saves me a little bit on resources anyway to have them that much closer together. Okay, so then, the final one would be a block breaker, which I guess we want to now connect directly here. Yeah, it works. And then to deploy, we want to do like this. So that can move to the right, and then we need to move it this way and block break this way and fall off the lever, block break. All right, so that works. I like that. That's not a bad system at all. I might even be able to compact this even a little more, can't I? I think so. Trying not to waste resources here because I'm not like, infinite resource man yet. But I should be able to do just that. Yeah, that should work. See? Not bad at all. So now I can move my frame quarry head left and right, and I can move it up and down. So that's neat. So give me a few minutes here. I want to kind of think about how I want to control everything now. I want to get these things off here, because we don't want levers, of course. So I'll be back. Alright guys, I find myself back at my, nice little sheep farm here because I want to start looking at the different wool that I'm going to use to create some of the wiring. So let's take a look real quick at our wires. There they are. I want to see if it sorts in the correct order that the color code is in. And yeah, it does. Look at that. So the color coding for Red Power 2, there's codes associated with each of these colors, and they are sorting in the proper order for me, which is great. So I'm going to grab, I don't know, I want to grab a lot of this stuff probably. So give me a few minutes to sort out exactly how I want to move all this stuff. I'll be right back. Alright, so for now I just grabbed one stack of each color wool. That looks pretty good. I'm just putting it in my bags to make it easier. You might have noticed that a bunch of items are now filtering into my chest. The reason for that, of course, is because with the chest being full, the items that were laying on the ground over here just got sucked up. So that's cool. I'm going to head back to my base now and start making some good stuff with this. Now for this, I'm going to need a noticeably large amount of red alloy wiring, so I'm going to get about, I don't know, 2 stacks of copper. That sounds about good. And I do have some tin on me, so let's get this stuff out of my inventory. So 2 stacks of copper, or no, I don't want 2 stacks of copper. I want half a stack of copper. And what I want 2 stacks of is, redstone. Well, I have a lot of nickelite, and I feel like I want to proceed with this awesome build, so I don't mind transmuting nickelite into redstone. So that should be fine. Give me more redstone, you. Hey, that's plenty. I'll go mining pretty soon, actually, once I have this whole build done. Let's go drop this stuff in here. So with 2 stacks of redstone and half a stack of copper, remember it's a 1:4 ratio that you want of your copper to your redstone. So we're going to get about 32 red alloy ingots out of this, which will be good. What I want to start crafting then is some nice, awesome wiring. So let's just start collecting this as it comes in, and I'll get some of the stuff out of my bags here, the wool. I'm obviously going to want some white, orange, magenta. I don't know exactly how many different colors I'm going to want, so I'm going to start off with 6, and I'll hang on to the other colors of wool for now. Maybe I'll even store them somewhere, but maybe I should have a bag full of wool. That would be awesome. Anyway, crafting time. So as you guys have seen in the past, you just place the color of wool on the side of your red alloy ingots to get that insulated color of wiring. And I should have a few colors of insulated wiring in here. I'll leave the gray alone. Yeah, because I have gray in there, but I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. So I'll be crafting some wires, and then the next thing I want to do, if we head over here to our probably miscellaneous junk. How am I for string? I've got a good amount of this stuff, which is important because I'm going to need some bundled cabling. If I need to, I could always make myself a wool card, and that's an awesome little tool. You can see you just need some fine iron wire, which is a diamond draw plate with iron ingot. And what the wool card lets you do is turn any color wool into 4 string. As you guys know, you can combine 4 string in a crafting table to make a piece of wool, so why not be able to do the reverse? Well, with the wool card you can, so woot. And what I'm going to do is probably get, I don't know, we'll see. Do I have enough here for this? No, I only get 3 for now. That's alright. I'm going to need a good amount of this bundled cabling because I'm going to need to run a lot of cables all over the place. So cooking up some more red alloy ingots, making that bundled cabling, probably going to want more redstone and copper. I'll be back. Alright guys, I decided I need more string, so let's craft it up real quick. Fine wire, and a wooden plank, and a stick. Was that it? Hey, there we go. Wool card. Nice. Not a terribly expensive or glamorous recipe, but dude, seriously, get a bunch of wool, convert it into string, can't complain. And it does, of course, take durability damage over time. So this guy's going to go into my bag along with all my other tools for the moment. And I crafted a bunch of white insulated wiring here, specifically for the purposes of, you know, doing the string thing. So, hey, there we go. Lots of bundled cabling now. Liking it. Alright, I'll be back once I said, like I said, once I have some more cabling and stuff. Alright, that's enough wiring for now. I think I've got enough here. But I'm going to make sure I bring my string and my red alloy ingots along with me and all the wool that I've got left. And now I have a nice set of wool that hangs out in my inventory. Awesome. I might need just a few more pieces of the white wool as well. I used it all for my string, for my bundled wool, and yeah, let's do that. You know what I meant. I know. If I had a nickel for every time I verbally flubbed. And off to my quarry. Let's start playing around on this thing now. Now remember, what you want to do if you want to run cabling along your quarry is you're going to need some stone panels down, panels being the thicker ones. So let's take a look at what we've got. Give me a few minutes here to figure out exactly how this thing's going to need to run, and I'll be right back. Alright, so what I want to do now, because I'm considering how I want to move everything around and have everything function, is I kind of want to rearrange the way some of these things work. I have a little bit more of an efficient design in mind. So don't mind me while I clean up the mess that I made last episode. Remember, last episode was more of a proof of concept slash let's get it built, and now we're getting into the let's make it really efficient and hopefully functional. So I'm just going to move some things around. Figuring out exactly how I want to move these things shouldn't be too bad. I actually think I figured out a good way to do it without these wires. I was also thinking about this throughout the day. I'm losing a little bit of energy here, but I'm okay with that. Gotta go get that battery box. Where'd it go? Down here? There it goes. So I'm going to have to go get myself another set of batteries, but I think I found a slightly more efficient way to build this thing. It was a little bit sloppy. I wasn't thrilled with it. And then thinking through for most of the day today, I was like, all right, I think I've got a better plan now. So what I'm doing here is moving this thing, this motor, and I'm going to place him probably over here-ish, like this. And then where's my screwdriver? And he's definitely not got any power at the moment, but that's not a big deal. But he should be facing down at the moment, so I want him to face up. 1, 2. Get him facing up. So we're just making this a little bit more compact, a little bit better than it was. At least I hope it'll be better than it was. I think I want my deployer and whatnot moved as well. I'm thinking the block breaker deployer combo, maybe the deployer here, and then the block breaker might go here. And just orient him facing downwards. And then if I want, I can run my pneumatic tubes like this. Just a little bit more efficient, like I said. And then right here, move this thing out of the way, is where I'm going to place my battery box. And the cool thing about the battery box, remember, is it transmits energy directly next to it, so I won't need any wires. And machines transmit energy through them as well. So that looks kind of cool as well, I think. Yeah, not bad. Alright, just got myself some Blue Trick batteries and charged them up back at my base. Filled up this battery box a bit. So I think this is a somewhat more efficient design. Obviously going to need a few more frames here to get this working perfectly right. But what I'll do now is make it a little bit easier for me to manipulate everything. Okay, so now that I've got these motors sitting here and they should be working properly, what I'd like to do is pick that up. Didn't want that guy to fall, really. Place down some of my panels and start connecting my wiring. So remember, the guy on top goes down. So let's say that down is the white cable. And no, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be facing this way. There we go. Down is the white cable and up is the orange cable. Cool. And then I can have some wiring here that's like bundled cabling. So this stuff. And run it up like so. And I'm going to want it to be up here as well. And then I'm going to have it connected somewhere. I haven't quite figured out where. Let me go get through this evening and be right back. Alright guys, so a little playing off camera because frankly it was starting to be difficult to figure out what I was doing while I was talking, was I decided to start here and place down my bundled cabling and then work my way forward, and here's what I've come up with. Alright, this side here is the orange connection, and that's going to activate both the downward motion and the deployer here. That'll have a few support frames in it. Okay, so that's downward, and deployer is orange. And then over here I've got a white connection going into the upward arrow, and I've also got another white connection here that quickly activates the block breaker. So it's going to activate it like that. I found that to be the most efficient way to wire it. It might be a little bit easier some other way, but I felt like that was pretty compact. Not terrible. Probably, like I said, a better way to do it. So let's test it out real quick. And I guess the best way to test that would probably be to run some wiring like so. So give me a second here. I'm just going to move this stuff like here. I'll put some white and orange. Why not? So I'll put an white here and an orange here, and then a couple levers just to test with. So white should be down, and orange should, no, orange is down, white is up. So let's give it a try. I want to move it down, so I should hit the orange. And it's stuck because it hit ground. And then white should move it up. Hey, that's not half bad. Look at that. I like it. And I'm going to move it down just a few, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get too far up. I'm going to place like a block of cobble right here. That should do. That way, if it does get too high up, and I'll have probably some support frames here at the moment. I don't have all the support frames I need, obviously, but I don't think I need quite as many as I have anymore. So let me clean up my support frames, and then I'll be back. Alright, that looks a little more compact, right? And if I'm right about this, I should have all the frames that I need to do everything. So this guy should still move up and down. So let's give him a try. White is up, and orange is down. And then I should still be able to move left and right, provided, of course, I get this stuff out of here, because these guys aren't going to move, you know, because they're not frames. I just put cobble down as a test. There we go. So now we should be able to move. Oh, we're missing something. See what happens when you miss something? So what I'd knock off there, an orange cable like that. And I see what I missed too. You guys probably caught it. I missed a frame block right here. So I'm thinking like, maybe I want to have something like, where would be a nice spot for this? I guess I have to place a frame block right here and here. So let's see what happens now if I move it left and right. Oh, we lost another piece. A piece of redstone somewhere. Oh, on the top. Cool. One more frame block right there. And now remember, I have to separately flip these levers for now, but that's, again, just temporary. And just to test once more to make sure that the white and orange things are all working properly, I'm going to test this off camera. Alright, take my word for it, it worked. Woot. Alright, now that I've got this support arm working, the real question is, how do I want to move it? And I think I need to disassemble this system. Because right now, my problem is, how do I get, if this is going to be like my control platform here, right? So let's assume this is a control platform, just for the time being. It's temporary, of course, but let's say I wanted to have a bundled cable set up here, where I can have my orange and white levers with some bundled cabling like so. How do I get this guy that I'm sitting on right now to connect to this guy? Well, if I'm constantly moving everything off to the left, I can't run the cabling straight up here, can I? Nope, that might be a problem. So what I could have had was like another system that after it deployed a frame, deploy a cover or a panel, and then after it deploys the panel, deploy some bundled cabling, but then we'd have to block break all that stuff and it would just be a huge mess, I think. So I think what I'll do instead is just have like a extension support frame instead of a self-building one. So I'll just pop this out like so. And that's not a big deal because, like, you know, frankly, we're cool, we're good. So I want to just have this guy out like this. And then what I can do is, you know, keep moving him left, and he'll just move along like so. And then move him to the right, and he'll also move along like so. And what I want to put on here are some covers. These are covers, right? Yes, they're covers, which means they won't, you know, affect any blocks in front of them. And it's time to get rid of this temporary thing. Now remember that frames can still move the blocks even if they have covers on them, which is an important part of what we're doing right now. So covers all around here. That's good. And then on top, instead of having covers, we're going to have panels, because on the top is where we want to run our bundled cabling, which I might need a few extra pieces of, but not too worried just yet. Cool. And then bundled cabling all along. And instead of having a cobblestone structure here as a temporary, I'm going to probably wind up moving things around. So give me a few minutes to move stuff around. And now with some minor changes to our platform, we've got this neat little guy here. I just got some power going into my battery box, and you'll note that there was a small amount of power already in there. The reason for that is because the frames still had power in them, like a little internal buffer that frames have. They have a little internal buffer for power. They had power in them, and it redistributed throughout the system once I put the battery box here. And then what I'm going to put down are some more support frames all around this thing. So check this guy out. Cool, right? And what I can do now is pretty much make this the platform that I'm going to work and live on. So this is where all my stuff's going to be. The only thing I need to worry about at the moment, I'm not going to worry about it yet. That should be fine. So I should be able to move everything left and right. And wherever it's at, it's going to connect right along here. Let's say that, what's the furthest left this can be? I think this guy's all the way over. So I could probably run a bundled cable here, or even here if I wanted to. It doesn't matter. And what's the furthest right it can be? If I put my bundled cabling here, will that be a problem? I don't know, to be honest with you. How far can you go? Yeah, see, it's going to go a little further beyond, I guess. So I'll think about how I want to solve that. I'm not too worried about it, though. You know what I could do if I really wanted to... No, that's not going to work. Give me a minute. I'm thinking this through. I probably just won't push it beyond that point. Well, here's one thing I came up with, guys, if I wanted to, and I was really that concerned about it. I could probably just do like something like this. That way it's guaranteed to, like, whatever side it's on, not be too concerned. And unfortunately, I did find a little mistake I made. I'm going to want to correct. Yeah. I'm going to have to move this battery box, I think. Yeah, I think I will. Alright, let's do it. Because what I want to do here, and I'm going to have to recharge him in a minute, but I'll take care of that off camera, is move these frames out of the way and place some frames down here. And here. And these are going to be the connections for moving these wires. So let's do this. I'm going to need this here, and probably one of you here and here. And we'll figure this out, but basically I should be able to run this like here to here. And then I can run down some cabling. Let's say we used white and orange already, right? So let's use purple and blue. Those are the next ones in the set. So remember, your wiring, the color that you use is important. I'm using white and orange, and then I'm using purple, or magenta really, and light blue. So those are the next ones I'm choosing to use. And let's say, you know, heading to the left is magenta. Okay, no, that doesn't work. I don't want that. I want it here. Hey, that's right. And this guy there. Cool. Now I shouldn't have any concerns. And to really test this thing out, what I could do is just set up a little test system. Let me recharge my batteries and build a testing system here for this, and I'll be back in a few moments. Alright, let's see how well I'm doing here so far. White, orange, magenta, blue. And if everything is hooked up properly, number one, I should stop falling. Didn't have my swift pulse on, that's why. Let me get a few more frames on the back here. And then some levers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So white should move our frame thingy up. And orange should move it down. And white should move it up. See that? Cool. And then purple should move it to the right, but I want to move it to the left, so let's do blue. And I guess I really don't need these cables here, do I? Since I've got it bundled like this, but who knows? We'll mess around a little bit later. And then white and orange should still work, so let's see if that's true. Cool. So we've got a pretty serious frame system here, don't we? Yeah, we do. What's up? How you doing, frame? Alright guys, back in my base for the next component of this little challenge that I'm doing here, and I can see I've got some overflow, so I'm going to have to resolve that in a future episode there, but I'll be back in a minute once I have the components for what I want to build for the next piece. Alright, so what's next? Well, I need a wireless transmitter and a wireless receiver. There's one component of this system that I don't have control over yet. I'm wondering if you guys know what it is. I can move it up and down. I can move it left and right. I haven't moved forward and back yet. I'm doing something a little different for that. I'm not there yet. But what can't I do with this system just yet? Well, if you've been really thinking about it, you might be wondering, how am I going to activate my block breakers? And where are the items going to go? Well, there's a couple approaches I could have done here. I could have had another set of block breakers and deployers that deploy redstone pneumatic tubes, and the redstone pneumatic tubes could connect to some other kind of redstone pneumatic tube system up here that send all the items back to my main platform. But I'm going to kind of fudge it a little bit and make it a little bit more simple than that. What I'm going to do is use some of the other mods I've got going on. I can't use just red power for this thing. I got to use some other mods somewhere. So how am I going to manage this? Well, pretty simple, to be honest with you. All I need is to dig around in my bags for a few items. I'm going to need some stone jacketed wiring and some red alloy wire and a wireless receiver down here. And I'll set the wireless receiver to frequency, I don't know, let's make it frequency 20. And we'll name frequency 20 the quarry. Set name. Quarry dig. Why not? That makes even better sense. Awesome. And then I can place down some redstone wiring and something like this. And everything should be connected to frames at the moment now, if you're paying attention, right? So these frames are going to move these blocks. So now, check this bit out, right? You ready for this? I should be able to move it up and down still without problems. Yep, everything works. And down works as well. And I should now be able to pulse frequency 20. And when I do that, it should pulse all my block breakers. See that? Cool. And my block breakers can now pulse on frequency 20. Ta-da! So if my frame quarry is all the way at the bottom here, let's see what's going to happen. And just to really test this out, let's go into my bag for a second. I don't have all the items I want to do just yet. Where are... do I have a chest in here? I do. Awesome. Instead of having a block right here, I'm going to have a chest. Because this will be the actual final build. The way this works in the end will be a chest there instead of a piece of cobblestone. So if I lower this guy all the way to the ground, like so. Nope, it's orange. There we go, we're on the ground. Now what I should be able to do is pulse frequency 20. Ta-da! And look at that. It just sucked up a bunch of dirt. And then I can move it to the, if I move it up, just to show you guys what it did, it ate up a bunch of ground. See that? And remember that middle piece was already missing. So let's move it back down again. And move it to the right one. Sure, why not? And pulse again. And it'll eat up another bunch of ground. And right one. And pulse again. And right one. And pulse again. You getting the point yet? There we go. And now that we've cleared out all this awesome terrain, I should be able to push down one more. So that was orange for down, right? And pulse here. And move left. And pulse. And left and pulse. And left and pulse. Ta-da! But it's not working because I'm pulsing the wrong side. Alright, there we go. Left and pulse. Left and pulse. Left and pulse. Just make sure you time it right. I'm probably not timing it right because I'm doing it by hand, but you get the point, right? So now I've got, ta-da, a frame quarry. Look at that. How awesome. Now, of course, I started it in the middle here of the cycle, so that's why it got stuck on the wall. Ideally, you'd start it all the way on one right-hand side and then, you know, start moving down. And you can dig and dig and dig. And all your items will get collected in this chest. We've got a frame quarry. Alright, it's pretty basic. I'm not done with it by far, by very far, but, you know, we're getting there. Unfortunately, guys, there's a problem. The next few steps are in-depth and complicated, and we're right around the 30-minute mark. So I think I'm going to have to wrap up this episode. But let me talk about what my future plans are with this frame quarry. So I can move left and right, and I can dig straight down, but there's one minor problem. I can't move forward and backwards anymore. Like, I can't go in that direction with my frame quarry. So what I would ideally like to do is probably build what's called a caterpillar drive. And whoever came up with the term caterpillar drive deserves a medal, because it's the coolest name of anything ever. And the caterpillar drive basically is going to allow you to move an entire frame platform without being connected to the ground. Another nickname for it is the inchworm drive. And you guys will have to see that next episode. But basically, I plan for this entire platform that I'm building here to be mobile, so that I have probably some frames under here, some frame motors going on, that can move this whole frame system forwards and backwards and left and right. So I should ideally be able to move this whole frame system around the world and pretty much wherever I want. But that's still a little bit of a ways away. And how am I going to control this frame quarry, of course? Well, dude, I got to do it with computers, right? There's no way I'm going to set up a crazy complicated system of, logic gates and whatnot. So those are spoilers for upcoming episodes, but I think most of you figured I was probably planning to do the computer thing by now. I hope you figured that out. Definitely going to be doing this with computers and hopefully a caterpillar drive to let this whole thing move around. But I'm pretty happy with my frame, to be honest with you. The other thing I'll have to do in the future is figure out some way to charge up these battery boxes. You know, transporting batteries manually is all well and good, but in the future I definitely need to figure out how I want batteries to get charged without having to, carry batteries around. But anyway, that's enough babbling for about a minute. This is Direwolf20 and I'm not on frequency 1. Where's my base? Home base portal. This is Direwolf20 signing off on episode 38 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. Hope you guys are enjoying the frame quarry so far. Believe me, once I'm done with it, it's going to be ridiculous, awesome coolness. Anyway, guys, take it easy.